All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Good morning, everyone. Or it's afternoon now already. You can tell time change is kicking my butt. Welcome to our roundtable about all things hold manufacturing here in Asia. I am Andy, owner of Method Grips, all the way from Minnesota, the United States. Today we're going to just talk hold things, and we've got three of our industry leaders here to be part of this roundtable. We have Jerome from AG, Jerome from Kastline, sorry, the team from AG, and Kelly from ClimbCo. So to start out, all three of these guys are going to get a few minutes just to talk about who they are, what they do, and how they do it. And then after that, we're going to open it up for a Q&A. All right, Jerome, I believe you're up first, sir.
Hello. I'm working for Kastline. The company has around 4 years of existence, and we are based in Guangdong province near Hong Kong. And we are currently manufacturing fiberglass holes, PU holes, and recently wood volumes. And we are manufacturing for around 20 brands around the world. Most of them are based in Europe, but we also have a few American brands and a few Asian-based brands too. One of the things that we make differently, I think, is that we are not only manufacturing, but we also are creating sales opportunities for the brands that work with us. We know that the brands are most of the time small structure with limited resources. And for example, most of the brands that are based in Europe don't have a lot of sales channels in most of the countries of Asia, China obviously, but also smaller countries like Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam. And since we've been working in the climbing industry in Asia for more than 15 years, we help them to find sales channels and develop their sales in Asia. And likewise, for the brands that are based in Asia, we know most of the distributors in the US and Europe, so we also help them to get in touch with these distributors and increase their sales in these territories. So I think that one of the important, the most significant cost at the beginning for a brand is to pay for the molds. And the speech that we have to the brands we work with is that the additional sales they're going to be able to do with us are going to pay back for the initial investment that they make in the molds. We have now around 20 brands that are working with us. We are also focusing on innovation. We are ahead of the market in terms of 3D, and we're keeping an eye on everything new that is happening manufacturing-wise. And this is one of the very big advantages of being based in China, is that innovation at the moment is there, especially in manufacturing. All of the technologies that will be used in manufacturing in the coming years are already there on large scale, low cost. So it's a very an advantage for us to be at the top of the innovation. And I think also that if you look at the market now, you probably have 100 climbing holes brands in Europe, probably the same number in the US. But in Asia, even though the market is so big and is the fastest developing market at the moment, the number of brands that are really existing on the international level is very low, probably 10 to 15 max. So I think that there is space for more brands based in Asia, for the Asian market, and then for the rest of the world. So if you know climbing and you have shaping skills, then you're welcome to see us. We can take care of the manufacturing and the distribution. But please use this space that is currently available on the Asian market.
Thank you, Jerome. Team AG, you guys are up.
We are Team AG, and he's the owner new, and he's the owner of AG, and I'll be the translator of AG today. I'm Kevin.
I'm new. My English is not good. Kevin, translate. 我们是从2017年开始做这件事情的，然后当时在，我们有4家攀岩馆。
So we start the AG Host from 2017, and we also have 4 climbing gyms in Ningbo near Shanghai. So there, Ningbo is also where our factory based.
还是我。
对，你就走。
然后我们有攀岩馆，有青少年训练，有攀岩馆，然后有工厂，对我们自己做的工厂。因为我们在2017年开始做的时候，在中国是没有人做工厂，就是做 PU 的工厂，这样的。
So we have a climbing host company, and also we own climbing gyms. Also, we also focus on the teenager training program. And he want to explain like why we started this climbing host business is because at 2017, there's no proper climbing host manufacturer in China at that time. Like maybe only few manufacturers, they are only doing PE. So we think it's really important for us to having something like properly like close to the international climbing host business. So we decided to develop our own PU from that time. So that's why AG started.
对，然后我们现在在做的是，主要是在做吸塑，对，然后还有 PU， 还有 Volumos 木头。
So our current focus is like PU. Of course, we develop our new material like PU Max, and also like we recently focused on the thermoplastic. That's our priority right now, and also we just started our plywood.
对，因为我们做的时间是。在中国这个攀岩是个非常重要的节点，所以说其实我们是见证了从2017年一个小的爆发之后，然后又是疫情之后的快速发展的整个中国过程，包括跟我们的成长节奏也有很多很直接的关系，这样的。
So actually, AG Host is kind of like growing together with Chinese climbing market. Around like 2017, it's just about like Chinese like modern style climbing gyms started. And also past the pandemic, and it's about like we are growing together with Chinese market. It's like rocket up, so it's that's what we experience right now. So we learn a lot from this like Chinese market.
然后我们没有，就这些，应该就这些了吧？可以，还有什么要讲？
Yeah, so like it's just like generally introduce like where we started and where we right now. So we are open to any questions later. Like we're free there. Yeah.
All right, thanks guys. Up next is Kelly, founder of ClimbCo.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Kelly and founded ClimbCo. We also have Lacuna Climbing, which is a climbing hold brand, and we manufacture for 6 brands now, including Andy's Method. And we also do many other products like crash pads. We do flooring like EcoCity, the new floor at EcoCity. And we have a new hand solve product. We're doing like hand creams. So we're basically doing a lot of things that climbers want to use, that I would use. And I think that's kind of how ClimbCo started. I think when I first started ClimbCo, I think I followed the traditional path of many climbing gym owners. I spent 13 years in finance, and then decided that it wasn't worth trying to like pursue long term. So of course we go into rock climbing, and we fall in love with rock climbing, and then we become mountain guides, and then we come to China, and then we open factories in China. So I think that's pretty standard, right, Jerome? That's so I first met up actually with Patrick in Chicago. Right, and Patrick gave me the idea to come to Asia. He actually gave me a business plan, and I was like, okay, yeah, we could do this. And with that, we came to China and met up with Jerome. Jerome put me up in his apartment, right, at EP, and we essentially started working out of EP. And then we took over the EP production, and then from that, we formed ClimbCo. So in a nutshell, I think China is definitely growing, Asia is definitely growing, and we're happy to be a part of it. And if you guys have any questions, we have a booth here, just come on, say hi. Cool.
Awesome, thanks guys. So we're going to open it up to questions, but I'm going to get to go first because I'm me. And Kelly, you kind of just mentioned it briefly, and that is growth. Where do you guys see the Asia climbing industry going in, say, the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I came to China in 2017, and like New Gong was saying, there was no climbing hole brands, there was really no like high quality PU producers, and the gyms were very kind of like old school. Since then, I mean, it's gone super modern, like you've seen a lot of great gyms. New Gong's gym is great. Banana, you know, there's a lot of these new gyms that are coming out that are very modern, and I think China could see, you know, 100 gyms every year for the next, you know, 5 years. So I think the quality in China is growing a lot, as well as Southeast Asia. We're seeing a lot of new gyms coming, and yeah, I think it's going to explode. Hate to use big words like that, but yeah, I think it's going to grow a lot. Yeah.
I think the advantage of the Asian market is besides the fact that the market is growing as a whole, you have many countries that are in different stage of development. So you have countries like Singapore and South Korea and Japan, where the climbing market is already pretty mature, but you have other countries that are in very different stage of development, and countries like Vietnam basically has not started yet. So I think we have a long growing market ahead of us for Asia.
我觉得就每个国家的情况都不一样，然后东南亚有东南亚的情况，日本有日本的情况，所以说这个不是亚洲虽然是一个 Asian， 但是它不是个单一市场。对，中国的情况更复杂一些，但是中国的情况肯定未来会特别大。比如说我们有一些
So we also think we agree with Jerome, like Asia market. Maybe like lots of people saying Asia as a same market, just like Europe or America. But actually, like the situation like in Asia is more complicated, because all the countries are developed like in a different stage. Especially like for example, like for Japan, Korea, South Korea, like they move like really pretty forward, like in terms of the whole Asian market. Also, China is like super different. Even from Southeast Asia, it's like a different story. So we always see Asia as like different part, is like a different like group of the market. So we think, yeah, we do agree with Jerome. It's like more complicated than just like mono, like continental market.
你比如说，疫情之后，日本其实是没有增长的，但是在亚洲的，包括东南亚市场，中国的市场可能有5%，像中国的市场，每年有50%、40%左右的场，从单场地面也是。日本不，我说日本。
So he want to say it's like after pandemic, for example, Japan market is not growing that much. It's like pretty stable. But for Southeast Asia, China is booming. For example, like in China, is almost like 50% like every year after pandemic. So the growing is like fast as like even over our expectation.
Wonderful. We'll take questions from the audience. Anybody got a question for our panel? Go ahead.
Okay, we are seeing that when hosts get featured on World Cup, on the world stage, it's good business for the brands, right? So is it becoming very political to get your brands to be showcased on the world stage? Is there anything that IFSC is doing to equalize it, or is there some? It's mostly about sponsorship and who's being able to sponsor more the IFSC.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I might be able to help with that one a little bit. So as far as World Cups and the IFSC and sponsorships go, the IFSC is actively trying to redo the system and how they do it. It's in kind of a transition period right now. Basically, sponsorships are now going to a tier level, and you have to work your way up the tier level in order to get more and more exposure within the World Cup circuit. The short of it is it's very, very difficult to be a high-level IFSC brand because there is so much competition amongst the climbing hole companies. That being said, the new reworking with the tier system is going to start giving opportunities to newer and younger brands to be a part of that World Cup circuit. But I will tell you that from a hold maker and hold company owner perspective, it starts locally. It starts sponsoring your local gyms. It's sponsoring comps in your region, sponsoring comps in your country, and just growing that way. Once you've established yourself as a reliable brand in that situation, then there's more opportunities on the global stage, specifically the IFSC. Great question, though. Thanks. Anybody else? Oh, come on, guys. All right, I've got a few here. I want to ask about the panel about new innovations. What's the new latest and greatest? What are we looking at? What's going to be the next big thing in climbing? Come on, guys, not all at once here.
Well, we're adding fiberglass and VTF, but you guys already have that, so that's our innovation. We're also changing our PU, but I think everyone's always working on PU. Yeah.
So
yes, we can get into that. I'll do that one. So Kelly mentioned VTF. Sometimes it's known as ABS. It's a newer technology to our industry that is kind of on the forefront. This is where I was trying to lead you guys, actually. It's basically a vacuumed sheet of plastic over a form, hence vacuum thermoformed. It's essentially the next generation of fiberglass would be the best way to describe it. Maybe the AG team can talk about it a little bit more since they're already doing it.
Yeah, for us, like we are currently working on the VTF right now. So we are trying to push the limit of this product to see what exactly the limit is this product, because it's the new stuff, not like the fiberglass is being used in the industry for many years. But from what we see right now is thermoplastic is much lighter than the fiberglass. Also for the roadsteaders, when you use it, just no dust, like no this like fiber dust from like drilling the screw holes and everything. Also, you never to worry about like if you drop the hose, like it gets chipped. So we think it's much cleaner, at least like for the roadsteader. As a manufacturer, we can't really see like it's much cheaper than fiberglass or something, but at least like from our perspective, for the people who work there, like to using this product, it's much better. And also, we don't see like the downside of this compared with fiberglass. Of course, fiberglass can do lots of special texture. It looks special in a different way. But also, we think considering like the whole situation, like all the gyms who buy in these products, like we think the thermoplastic is just the future, and also it's lighter. It's like there's no reason why we don't use this material.
Yeah, for those of you that are interested in the new technology, the VTF and the ABS, I know the AG team has some in their booth. Also, the Method booth does have some of it. It's definitely what we're seeing as an industry is where the push is right now. There's a lot of excitement around ABS and vacuum thermoform technology, mainly because of its the properties that it brings to the table, being very lightweight, being extremely durable, but also not having the negatives of fiberglass where it wants to chip and crack and things of that nature. So it's a very interesting innovation, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Next question. Anybody got a question?
So we speak about VTF being new and popping up new shapes. Is there any consideration towards repurposing old shapes? For example, let's say Fat Blue Superstars into VTF or fiberglass. Is there any interest in that from the market?
It's probably difficult to say at this point. I know I can speak from Method. It's definitely something we're looking at. The nice thing about VTF is that it's pretty easy to bring to the table as far as molding goes. So a lot of the initial kind of experimentations with VTF were in that exact realm of taking existing shapes and making them in that material, and just to see how they perform. So it's definitely a possibility. Again, it comes down to cost and a lot of other factors, but it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, and there's a lot more limitations when it comes to molding, right? How deep you can go in. But also manufacturing of the fiberglass is a lot dirtier. You know, it's messier, has the resin, the smell, the styrene. So it's a cleaner process, VTF.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from seeing both processes and doing both processes, VTF from the manufacturing standpoint is a lot more attractive. It's easier. It's a lot cleaner, a lot less toxic. It's faster. So there's a lot of options, reasons for us to explore it in more depth. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, we think that's like a really interesting question. So, because for AG, like we have lots of fiberglass ships like in the past. So that's exactly what we are doing right now. Is we're trying to test if this new material is suitable for all our past fiberglass ships, but it still is a question mark right now. That's what we are doing right now. So we want to know like if it's suitable for all kind of the ships. Of course, like what Kelly mentioned, is the difficulty of the mold making and everything. But if you find a solution that can solve all those issues, like there's no reason why we don't do that. But like you mentioned, like flat hulls, the fiberglass ship are they possible to switch into some plastic? But it's a question. It's a problem of them. Like so, like we can't speak for them. But that's what AG doing is like we're trying to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that thermoform, despite the fact that we're all very excited about it, is not going to be. It's not going to kill the other forms of materials that we use. There will always still be PU holds. There will always still be fiberglass holds because each different material type has its own strengths and limitations. And so I think long term the balance is going to be there'll be a little bit of everything in a gym.
How's the color applied here? The color, is it surface applied or in the plastic?
It's the plastic. So it can be painted. So some VTF currently being produced is painted. Others is the raw plastic. The challenge that we're seeing with matching colors is the same challenges that we see with matching colors in any material. We have to source it. And with the VTF still being relatively new, we don't have a full color palette quite yet. The colors that are available, it's safe to say, are pretty close. AG's colors are dead on for their VTF. Again, it's a process. It'll as it grows and it becomes more widely available, more colors will come online and be available.
How much of a role is additive going to play in the immediate future methods? Additive, 3D.
One of you guys want to take that?
I didn't hear the question.
Sorry, just wanted to ask how much of a role is additive manufacturing going to be playing in the near-term future of climbing holes, 3D printing basically?
Wait, what does that mean? Additive? I don't understand. Sorry, you have to explain it.
Additive manufacturing.
What is that? I don't know.
I think you might have stumped the panel here. Can you explain what you mean by additive manufacturing? I've not heard that term before.
It's the general term for 3D printing.
Oh, we're talking 3D printers. There's a good topic. 3D scanning, 3D printing. Your thoughts, guys?
I mean, we're using it for molding, but not really for creating actual shapes that are commercially used. So.
Yeah, I think for molding, it's going to be a very useful technology that many manufacturers are already using at the moment, and I think it's only a start. But for finished products, as far as I see it for now, it's not going to be used in the coming few years. Regarding innovation, one of the things that I wanted to say is obviously thermoforming is one of the things that all the manufacturers are working on. One of the specific direction that we're taking in Kastline is to try to develop hybrids. So a mix of different materials together so that you can take the best of all the materials and every aspect of the materials. So, for example, we have developed a mix of fiberglass and wood plates, so that the wood plates can be easily modified without having to remanufacture and repurchase the fiberglass. But also one of the things that looks very unusual in terms of optimization of the use of the products is that you have massive macros with a very small part of texture, and actually, despite of this use, where you have probably 10% of the hole itself that is used for climbing, then it's all made in the same material. So we really believe that there's something to be done by doing a hybrid and separating the material that is used for the texture part and the part that is not climbable. There's probably a space here to decrease the cost of manufacturing and also increasing the sustainability of the materials that are used. So this is one of the directions that we go in Kastline regarding innovation.
Great question. 3D printing is a really interesting technology, and it is not quite adapted fully into the climbing world yet. So what we're finding is we can't produce actual holds in 3D printing that are quality enough. The materials don't exist yet. That being said, that may change. Another question, go ahead.
I'm curious, the holes are amazing and beautiful without plastic, but at the end of their life cycle, what happens to all of this rubbish? And is there enough of a push within the industry themselves to recycle, reuse, repurpose, make this more sustainable? Or is no pressure needed?
Recycling holds, guys. This is a good question.
Well, you could always like downcycle, where you like use it in a core market, like U.S. or Europe, and then downcycle it to a country or a market that's not doesn't have that high expectation for holds. So that's one way. You just keep reusing it, or use it for like children's walls, right, where they don't need the high techs. We looked into recycling and grinding it into a powder and using it in roads and filler for roads. But that process is very expensive to do as well. So there's added costs just to put it back into the environment. So our best solution is to send it to another gym that can use it more effectively after your core gym has used it. Yeah.
On the recycling topic, it is something that is often discussed within our industry. The actual answer is there's no great answers right now. The materials that we use are the materials that we use because they're the best for our application. They're not necessarily the best for the environment. That being said, there is always an active push towards trying to be more environmentally conscious. There are companies like Absolute Climbing that are starting to really dive into retexturing of holds and reusing of holds in that realm. But I think Kelly is right. As of right now, kind of the best option is that kind of downcycling idea. In America, downcycling means that it goes from a climbing gym to somebody's home climbing wall, which is a very, very common practice in the United States. The best thing that we can do right now environmentally is to continue to improve materials and increase lifespan of our climbing holds. Go ahead.
I'm Cass from Kastline. I've seen a trend in the UK of, wooden holes, right? Wood's a material that's got abundance. Is that a thing that's coming over here, or any of you guys had dealings with?
Wood holds. Thoughts?
We are starting to make bamboo holes in China with local sourced bamboo. We think that the result looks amazing, but even with bamboo, the manufacturing cost is very expensive, and I think it's a niche market for some very iconic products. But in the long term, I don't think the cost, nobody will want to pay for it on a large scale.
Yeah, CNC technology for wood specifically is very, very, very expensive. So price point is starting to become a concern when you start talking about wood holds, specifically CNC carved holds. That's very true, but even wood holds do have a lifespan because the oils from your hands and stuff start to build up within them, and they can be refreshed to a certain extent, but it's safe to say that a wood hold lifespan is considerably longer than, say, a PU hold, but it's not forever. Any other questions, guys? Go ahead.
Okay, holes are expensive, right? There are more gyms, more climbers, so your economies of scale is higher. Will prices of holes be coming down?
Oh, here's a good rabbit hole.
For you, yes, we can talk. No. Well, in general, since I've been in China, I've noticed when I was at EP, I've noticed that the prices come down every year gradually. And the more we buy, the more we're doing what we do, we become more efficient. And these efficiencies we pass on to the gyms with lower pricing, better products. But in general, yeah, our prices should be coming down over time. Yeah, as we get larger, yeah, and as raw material costs come down. Yeah. I don't know, you guys?
I think the price has gone down already, but you didn't see it because the quality increased. And from my experience, I'm not selling climbing holes directly, but from my experience, I see the brands and the customer looking for more quality rather than cheaper holes. At least this is what they express most.
I agree with Jerome. There's definitely always been a push towards quality over price point. The argument I always make regarding the pricing of climbing holds is this more than any other industry in the world, you get what you pay for. And it's better to spend 30% more now for a hold that's going to last twice as long than spend that 30% less 3 times in the same amount of time. So when you look at it from that perspective, and from the fact that everything is made to order, like no climbing hold companies for the most part hold stock. Everything's made to order so that you get the color you want. That also is a huge challenge and impedes cost a lot as well.
So as a host brand, of course, with for example, with the Chinese supply chain, we can push this price super low without limit, but which means the quality also drops that down. How low, you need to find a balance where you stop. As a brand itself, we have to hold this bottom line. Otherwise, this can damage the whole market in Asia. If everyone is playing with price, then there's no quality. Everyone accepts this cheap holes, and where it goes, all the good brands cannot survive anymore. Then so everyone start climbing with these shitty holes, then there's no future in this industry. Yeah, So we want the price to be lower, in a reasonable way, because that will help this industry to develop even faster. But we need to find a balance there.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to piggyback off that question and ask you guys, for countries or areas where the economies aren't there for climbing, so I'm thinking about the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, all these places where not that many climbers, rent is expensive, so we have to shipping whether it's China or Europe. How can you guys help in kind of helping that ecosystem, whether it's the price of home or any other ways?
So talk to our distributor. You can work something out.
The challenge with climbing in general, kind of where we're at, is we are still growing. We're in these growing pains. So there are definitely regions of the world where the logistics of building a gym and getting climbing holds is very difficult. The best wisdom I can give you with that is to understand your distributors, understand the brands and the manufacturers, and work with those that can ship you multiple brands at the same time. One of the biggest costs in climbing holds is it's the fact that climbing holds are heavy and therefore expensive to ship. So anything that you can do to mitigate those shipping costs is going to be one of the best ways as a hold buyer to mitigate your costs. And I know all three of these factories, they do work together to co-ship. So say you're opening a new gym in Saudi Arabia, you could work with these 3 brands and say, hey, I've got orders for all 3 brands. Can you combine them together and ship them all at once? And that will save you 30-40% in your shipping costs. So knowledge is everything with this, and not being willing to reach out to, say, Kelly at Lacuna and say, hey, I've got multiple orders in with you, and I've got orders in at AG, and I've got orders in with Jerome at Kastline. Can we gather this all up and ship it together? Then it's just a couple emails back and forth, and then we make it happen. So it's one of the biggest things that I do when I'm working with gyms is, hey, how can we combine your shipping? How can we mitigate your costs in that area? Because it's one of the easiest ways for all of us to help save you money.
Shipping and packaging. Would you be willing, for example, ship in unpackaged and in crates? Because for me, I'm like, we get a lot of quotes, a lot of packaging, and then the box get all rolled into a crate.
Okay. You're talking about like one big container.
And then at the same
Yeah.
time, for us in the Philippines, we can't buy a crate, plastic crates, they're pretty bad. Crate supply crate, we'll buy the crate from you and ship in that crate. Because I'm not picky packing on. Once they're used once, they get scratched.
Right.
And then, right? You doesn't get chipped. So we could just directly ship it in crate.
Yeah, I think we could totally do that. Packaging, that's not our expertise, but we can accommodate whatever the gym wants and needs. Like going back to your, like consolidating shipping. Right now in our factory, we have pallets from Kastline and AG that Patrick has arranged for us to group ship. So we can put it all together and put it in crates or however you want to package and ship to you. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you're definitely the exception to the rule when it comes to that. Most customers do not want their holds scuffed up, and that's why the packaging is so extensive. That being said, there's always the accommodations. Like these, do not, as hold buyers, be afraid to ask these questions when communicating with cold companies. Be like, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? You'd be surprised because we are in that kind of made-to-order realm. Accommodations can be made pretty easily when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it's just a matter of throwing it out there more than anything. But again, yeah, the co-shipping thing is huge. And despite these guys all being quote unquote competitors, they do play nice together. And that's one of the great things about our industry is that the brands tend to play nice together and are willing to work together to give you, the whole buyer, the best experience that we can.
Yep.
Any other questions? Go ahead. Made to order. Why do we have to do made to order, guys?
I mean, let's say there's a lot of things coming up, and some of those being made in stock, then really need to want some customized order.
Yeah, it's. I'm going to take this one because this is a pet peeve of mine. It's a volume thing. For example, I have roughly 1,500 holds in my line. If I were to carry just one copy in every color that we offer, we're looking at several $1 million in product. And that's just not feasible to do. Because we offer so many options and so many colors and so many variants, in order to afford to carry stock, it's pretty unreasonable cost-wise. If I were to carry 2 colors of everything in my line, I'm looking at $3 to $4 million in stock, which is no guaranteed to sell. Our industry is 100% driven by the demand of our customers. Our customers demand a lot of options and a lot of colors, so therefore we have to be made to order.
Yeah, I agree. Like we have a lot of inventory of specific colors, and then we give it to the customer, and they say, "No, I don't want teal. I want light blue instead." And you're like, "Okay." So yeah, it's made to order. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, the price is going to be the price because it's still got to be made, it's got to be manufactured. And what we've learned is it's better to be dynamic and do it on the fly and make it to order than to sit on stock that may or may not ever sell. It's difficult. These guys, it's hard. They're dealing with limited space, thousands and thousands of shapes, molds everywhere. It can be very difficult to just maintain stock, both financially and from space perspective. Great questions so far, guys. Anybody got anything else? Go ahead. Liquid chalk? Yeah, that's a new one to me too. Jerome?
No.
I've never heard that, liquid chalk being an issue. You have to be an awful lot of liquid chalk to kind of wear down. The base of liquid chalk is actually rubbing alcohol, which isn't that abrasive of a chemical. So as far as the pressure washing, what do you guys think on washing and maintaining holds?
So for us, like we think if you have to worry about if liquid chalk or pressure wash gonna damage the hose, like it's a failure of us. So we have to make sure you don't need to worry about this. Like you.
对，你做盐点生产商，你最主要就是服务于严管，严管服务于客户。如果因为你的生产导致严管的经营会有一些特殊的需求，那我觉得这就不是个称职的一件事。
So we think our main purpose is make sure the gym can work like easier. So like because our production, like you have to worry about this, is really a failure like as a manufacturer.
For me, it's not really big. This thing that came up in Singapore specifically, where people were complaining about Yahoo getting polluted. And I thought I'll bring the question to be more focused on zero and understand the zero method for most of us.
Sure, I think they're right that.
Sorry, I have to interrupt here, but I think the talk about liquid chalk is more a health issue than a holds issue. And there is European gyms now that do not allow anything but liquid chalk. And I think the discussion about health, asthma, pollution is the discussion you have to have. I think the health of your staff that works there, the health of your customer is more important than liquid chalk attacking holes. I think this is a discussion we have to feel because we have a problem. We have people who get sick from chalk dust, and I think this is much more important.
Thank you, Patrick. I completely agree on that one. Any other questions, guys? Oh, all right. Then we get to get into one of mine. I want to talk about the big elephant in the world room right now, and that is the U.S. and China's relationship and tariffs. How is that? Here we go. Yeah. I'm going there, guys. How is that impacting and/or affecting your guys' manufacturing and business?
I mean, the tariffs are back down again to like what, 10%?
Yeah, today. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah. But when it first went in effect, yeah, we had orders that got paid that just didn't ship. They just said, don't ship it. And we're like, okay, and just wait, which is, I mean, what we did. So. But we also import raw materials from the U.S., and so that got more expensive immediately. So that was one thing that we had to face.
Come on, guys. You got to give me more than that.
That's why we need to focus on Asia.
I 1000% agree with you on that one, actually. As an American guy, I 1000% agree with you.
But practically, yeah, it's been a nightmare. Mainly, not so much about the practical consequences of the policy, because I think we didn't see it completely yet. But in the turmoil that it created in the customer, how they were worried about what they would pay, when it would be shipped, if they wanted to be shipped yet now or not, or wait for the tariff to go down. And so much noise for nothing in the end. Now the tariff went down to a lower level between, I mean, at least for the goods that are shipped from China to the US. We are talking about 30% plus 4 plus 3.5, if I'm not wrong. This is manageable, you know, the way logistics works, especially with Chinese forwarders exporting things to USA. I think it's going to be manageable. It was not manageable at 145. I think it's going to be manageable, and I think we're going to be back to usual business in a few months from now.
Do you guys believe the same that I do in the fact that I think this whole situation is expediting the regionalization of climbing holds and climbing hold manufacturing?
I think this regionalization process has been ongoing for years already. I think the logic is still there and is going to be there in the coming years. I think that now, today, with the tariff, the freight cost, and the way they are changing over time, the lead times that the customer want to be always shorter, and if as a brand owner you want to have your products in Asia and in China, you have to be manufactured in Asia and in China. I think most of the brands we're talking to, they know this. Now the problem that they have is, do they have the money to invest in a third manufacturing plant in the Asian region? Many of them, they already have a manufacturer in Europe. They already have a manufacturer in the US. And then the question is, do they have the budget that would enable them to make this additional investment in Asia? But regarding the will to do it and the fact that they think this is the direction to go, I think there's no much doubt about it.
Agreed. There's a huge push, especially American and European brands, to come to Asia. It's a money thing, but I think it's safe to say that everybody's coming. It's just a matter of time. Any other questions? Anybody? Come on. It's great talk. Go ahead.
Yes, Jerome. Oh no, I'm the Kastline staff. But just one quick question: how in the so recent 4 years, Kastline can grow up so quickly? Can you give us share something? It's just 5 years. No, more than 5 years. It's one floor, and now it's a 5 floor. You know that it keeps so growth, fantastic growth. I want to get something to know that. Would you please share to our climbers? Yes, give your successful experience of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kalina, for the question. No, but I mean, the growth of Kastline has been the same as any manufacturer based in Asia. We are on a fast-growing market, on a market that is looking for more and more quality constantly. This segment of high quality was not taken when we started Kastline, so we took it and we're trying to keep it for the long term. And basically, the growth of Kastline is also backed up by the growth of the market in Asia and in China.
Great. Anybody else? Nothing? Really? Well, why don't we wrap it up just a little bit early, since you guys, wall production. Any new wall producers? Where are you guys at on wall production right now?
We are manufacturing climbing wall panels. So I've been working as the EP managing director for Asia for 15 years. So I've been manufacturing many climbing walls. And now with Kastline, my dream was to stop doing customized stuff, you know, and to go away from the climbing wall manufacturing business. This is why I started Climbing Halls, which is a standard product finally. But there is a demand for climbing wall panels everywhere, and there is a demand for high quality climbing wall panels. So Kastline is also going to propose climbing wall panels, but not climbing walls. We're not doing the design, we're not doing the manufacturing, we're doing the manufacturing, but not the engineering and the reaction force calculation and everything like that. But you propose us a design, we can give you the panels cut as you want it to, with the T-nuts, with the paint, the colors that you wanted, the texture, or without texture. And it's shipped to you with numbers, with a plan, and we don't install it. So this is the once again, I think that besides these big companies that are making perfect climbing walls on a huge scale and are giving you a turnkey solution, there's also a space for people that are looking for lower cost, And if you are looking for lower cost, then you tend to do more things yourself. And what we would help you to do is to manufacture just the climbing wall panels.
Anybody else? One last question? All right, if not, thank you guys so much for, oh, go ahead, sorry. Quality difference between American, European, and Asian produced holds?
But you see, this is actually this is a brand decision. Okay, the brand, when they come to a new manufacturer, they will ask for samples, then they will send one or two sets to be manufactured. Then we place a small order, then we check the quality at every stage. So when a brand comes to Kastline, they have made sure before that the quality that Kastline is manufacturing is at the level that what they have on the other continents in other countries. So obviously you have brands that are more demanding than others, but brands like Cheetah, it has taken several years before they move their fiberglass production to Kastline, and before they move their hopefully the PU production to Kastline too. So it's a long process, but the validation of the quality is made by the brand before they have an authorized manufacturer in a new territory. But as far as I'm concerned, the price to you as an end customer is decided by the brand, not by me. So as a manufacturer, what I'm trying is to be as efficient as I can on the cost so that the brands can also lower the price. But me, most of the time, I don't see what is the price to the end customer.
Yes, the short of it, yes. So, from a hold maker perspective, with that, let's say Kelly can produce my shapes for 10% less than Aragon can. I can't sell them for 10% less because I'm undercutting myself. So we have to, as hold makers, set our price points to be at least a little bit profitable at the highest price point. One of the ways that Method has got around that is that we have two separate lines. Our holds are produced exclusively within a factory, so our Aragon holds are not produced by ClimbCo and vice versa. So we have two exclusive lines, which helps us bring our ClimbCo pricing down a little bit because it doesn't have to be reflective of the Aragon pricing, which is greater. Sure, and that comes down to plastic quality and production quality. But again, we can't undercut ourselves with that, so we have to set our pricing at what's the most efficient for us to not go bankrupt. This is probably the best way to explain it. So, sorry, one more time. Are your resins and plastics locally sourced, or are you importing them?
China, made in China.
Ours are partially imported from the U.S.
So we would like to pick up the previous question from Ben. Also, we will answer your question.
Sure. Sorry, guys.
西。然后你比如说 Rock City，它在欧洲卖的东西跟亚洲市场是不一样的。对，这是首先是品牌的决定。我觉得，但是其实从数据上它是有标准的。
So about the material, like the manufacturer got different material. So we also agree that it's the brand's decision to use, like if they want to use this local material or not. So for example, we know, like for example, Rock City, Europe and Asia, they use different material. But like to be honest, in this industry, there is a standard. Like for testing this material, how long it lasts, for example. But like most of brands, they just don't want to bring this up. So.
OK， 这个是个非常复杂的事情。这个从最基础的原材料到合成出来的材料。对，那基础原材料可能全球供应链解决，但是合成材料比如说我们自己是6max是我们自己合成。
So about this reason, this material producing the hose is like if you're talking about the raw material, like just like a really mature supply chain in the world, so it's always like a same company. But for example, our PU Max we are doing is like it's making in our own lab. So we're making this PU like in our factory. So in that case, like we'll produce like in Asia, in China for sure. But if you're talking about like, of course, we import the very raw material, like from that's only just one or two company.
Yeah, it's kind of important to note that every one of these manufacturers and every manufacturer on the planet has its own proprietary mix, plastic mix. And so no matter what they do, there's going to be a little variance there. And so what everyone is striving for is the best quality within their own system. And they're always trying to constantly improve said quality of that plastic. But to expect that any independent manufacturer is going to be identical to another is unreasonable because they're all sourcing their materials from different places and they have their own custom mixes that they've put their own time, money, and effort into producing. Okay, I'm getting the wrap it up from Patrick. I apologize, Patrick. Thank you all so much for listening to us talk about climbing holds for an hour, and come out and check out all the great shapes and all the booths. Say hi to us. And if you have any other further questions, feel free to hit us up while we're out on the show floor. Thank you so much.
你可以插一句。